recording. Closed. Okay. All right. So I know that you all probably have lots of questions for me, but hopefully after we go through this, this will help this will maybe make a little bit more sense. Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you all so we can kind of look through the portal together and walk through some of the things and where to find this stuff and all that good stuff. Okay. So share my screen and let me minimize that. Okay. So okay. So when you can access the portal from your device, your cell phone, your iPad, your phone, or a laptop, any device is fine. I'm just accessing it from my computer today just for the simple purpose that I can share the screen with you all. And first, you all, I want to tell you all, thank you so much for entrusting me to help you on this journey to better health. I am honored to be working with you all. I want you to not stress so much this week. It is prep week, and I'll be honest, it takes a couple of weeks for a lot of people to understand all the strategies that we use in the program. And so please don't stress. I will be here to help you along the way and teach you everything. Ask all the questions, okay? No question is a dumb question or a stupid question. I want you to ask me. If it's something you're not sure about, ask me, and I will be sure to answer that and make sure you understand it as best as I can. This week, you are free to practice any of the strategies you want, and we're going to talk about those. But again, you don't have to, but I do suggest that, especially towards the end of the week, that you do try to implement a few things, okay? And we'll talk about that. The goal through the Faster Way is to create a healthy, sustainable lifestyle and effectively learn how to burn fat, okay? And we focus on progress, not perfection, through this program. So go on and get that perfect mentality, mindset out, okay? And we're going to just focus on being better each and every day, okay? We're going to do better each day. So make sure a few things. If you haven't introduced yourself already, that you do that within the Facebook group. On any of the posts is fine. Our program hashtag is Faster Way with Terry. So when you're posting on your social media pages, you can use our program hashtag, and that helps us to find you easy. And also friend some of the other ladies in the group so that you all can encourage each other out there on social media. So next week we will officially start the program. Monday will be day 1, okay? And you will start posting your macro updates at that time, and I will show you all what to post. And we do have a couple of veterans in this group who are returning clients, and thank you for just chiming in and helping out and answering questions, ladies. I appreciate that. Kelly and Janet, or Janetta, they are the veterans. And then I also have another coach in this group. She's actually a newer coach. Her name is Erin. And she may be popping in here and there to answer some of your questions as well. Okay. All right. Excuse me. So through the Faster Way, we focus on eating the right macros at the right time for the right reason. We lift heavy to develop lean, calorie-burning muscle. We maintain proper mindset and make sure we get enough sleep and rest. And how many programs have you done where you focus on sleep and rest? Not very many, right? But it's super important. Mindset is probably one of the most important things through this program. So many of us focus on counting our defeats and not counting our wins. And in this program, we count all the wins. And wins do not mean the number on the scale moving, okay? So when you're posting your updates, if you have a small win you want to share with the group, I want you to share that. Every Friday, we're going to post our wins for the week, and we're going to celebrate those together. Having proper mindset is actually going to be the most important predictor for your success through this 6-week program, okay? The scale is a liar. So I hope by the end of the 6 weeks, if you have a really bad relationship with the scale, that we are able to repair that relationship, and maybe you even get rid of the scale. That's what I did after my first 6 weeks of the Faster Way. I was a slave to the scale, y'all. So I want you to weigh yourself to get your MyFitnessPal set up. And then after that, do not step on the scale. If you please try not to through the rest of the program, okay? The scale doesn't define you. It doesn't tell you how strong you are, how beautiful you are. It only tells you a number, and that number is so saturated with other stuff, water weight, if it's that time of the month, too much sodium, whatever. So don't focus on it. Make sure you take before pictures. You don't have to share those with me if you're not comfortable sharing them with me, but I do want you all to know that if you do share them with me, I do not share those out on social media without permission, and I always send you the proof of the picture, what I'm going to share, before I post it out on social media. So just rest assured that I do take into consideration, what you want done with your pictures, okay? So if you want to send it to me, you can email that to terrykeith@gmail.com. Make sure you take your measurements and send those to me. If you're a returning client, you can email them to me. If you're a new client, make sure you include those measurements on your new client assessment form. Most of you have gotten that completed. I do have a couple who have not completed that yet. So I'll be reaching out to you just to kind of remind you to do that. And you may not even know how to do that. So I will be reaching out to those who haven't. So let's look at the portal and kind of go through that so that you all kind of know where to find things. So welcome and introduction. We're going to just pop in there. This is just a quick video from Amanda Trust. She is actually the creator of the Faster Way to Fat Loss. And you will see her in a lot of the exercise videos and things like that. So this, if you click here, will show you how to pin the portal to your home screen. So make sure you do that so you can pin it to your home screen of your cell phone, and it's super easy to do that. But if for some reason you have a hard time, please let me know and I'm happy to help you. So here are the essentials with the Faster Way. Getting started with prep week. I've went through most of these things already. We focus on progress, not perfection. And then it kind of gives you what we're going to do each day. Once we've gone through all this in the weekend, you'll mark as complete, okay? The 6-week schedule. This is a calendar of our 6-week schedule. Feel free to print this out, but every day I'm going to post a daily post, usually around 5 a.m. every morning, and I'm going to tell you what the day is, what we're going to be doing, and all the good stuff, okay? Note, we do have a 24-hour fast in week 5 and week 6. Those are optional, so do not be sweating about it and freaking out, okay? I'm going to give you all the tips on how to survive a 24-hour fast, how to do it, and then if you don't want to do it, it's perfectly fine. And if you don't make it the full 24 hours, it's perfectly fine, okay? We just work on progress here, okay? Intermittent fasting is one of the strategies that we use in the Faster Way, and is actually the one strategy I feel like most of my clients do exceptionally well with and find it pretty easy. So intermittent fasting is one of the things we use to help burn fat, okay? It's not a diet, it's an eating schedule. Basically, you can read through this, but our bodies are either in 2 states, fed or fasted. And most of the time, our body never goes into a fasted state because we eat from the time we wake up until we go to bed, and we're only, sleeping 7 or 8 hours. And it takes 8 to 12 hours for our bodies to finish digesting food, okay? So when you are in a fasted state, your insulin levels are lower and you're able to reach into your fat stores, that helps you burn fat. So that's why we implement this strategy, and it's really good for digestive rest, to heal and repair cells. It helps with boosting the metabolism. There's so many great benefits to fasting. So we eat a lot in this program, and people think, well, if we're fasting, that must mean we don't eat a whole lot, but that's not the case. So we practice a 16-8 protocol. So we fast for 16 hours, we eat for 8 hours. Now, I'm going to give you all tips on how to get up to a 16-hour fasting window. Starting tomorrow, if you want to go on and implement some intermittent fasting, start with a 12-12. So you eat for 12 hours, you fast for 12 hours. So if you eat at 7 p.m., finish eating at 7 p.m. tonight or 8 p.m. tonight, you would fast until 7 or 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And during your fasting window, you can drink all the water. Okay, water is what we want to drink the most of. You can infuse your water with fruit, lemon. You can also have some coffee if you're a coffee drinker, but we want to keep our coffee either black or stay away from artificial sweeteners and flavors. You can use some stevia. You can do some non-dairy creamer, because we do try to be dairy and gluten-free as much as we can. It doesn't mean you have to be 100%, but I do ask that you try to be as much as you possibly can, okay? Whatever that looks like for you, because gluten and dairy are the two things that cause a lot of inflammation in our bodies. When you have inflammation in your body, you are not able to lose weight, you all. That is one thing I have learned through my own journey of through this process is my body was filled with inflammation, and I was working out, eating good, and couldn't shed any weight. I took gluten and dairy out of my diet, along with a couple other food groups that were, I could tell I wasn't tolerating very well, and I was able to start losing weight. So that's why we practice being gluten and dairy free as much as you can. So non-dairy creamers are what I would like for you to use in your coffee if you can, okay? Black is always best, but I know that some of you all cannot do black coffee. I personally use liquid stevia in my coffee, and I'm good to go. So you can have coffee, you can have herbal tea, unsweet tea, stay away from diet sodas. Preferably, we don't drink those, but I know that some of you all might need your diet soda. So don't have those during your fasting window, and really work on trying to cut back on diet soda. So if you are used to drinking 4 a day, try to cut back to 2 a day, and then the next week maybe do 1 a day, and then get to every other day, and maybe you get to where you only have a couple a week, okay? So it's all about moderation, setting small goals, realistic goals that you can actually reach. Don't say, well, I'm just quitting all my diet pop. I drink 10 a day. I'm not going to drink anymore. That realistically probably won't be something you can do long term. So I would rather see you gradually cut back, and then, get to where you're only having them here and there. So that's how I like for my clients to start with their intermittent fasting is start at 12-12. Do that for 2 or 3 days, go to 14-10. So you fast for 14 hours, you eat for 10 hours, and then try the 16-8. Okay. So you might take you a week to get there. And if we come to Monday and you're not ready to do a 16-hour fast, then by all means do a 14-hour or whatever you're at, and work your way up. Okay. I've already talked about it. Boost the metabolism, turns your body into a fat burner. These are all the great benefits of intermittent fasting. Okay. So, make sure you read through all that, and let me know if you are ready to start practicing. If you're going to start tomorrow practicing your intermittent fasting, when I post like the morning post for every day, keep me updated. I'd love to know, how you're doing with that. The next thing we focus on in the Faster Way is whole food nutrition. And so whole foods, basically, I say if it has a mother or it comes from the ground, it's a whole food, okay? These are things that have very few ingredients, and they are things you can pronounce. Whole foods have not been modified. They are not processed. They have no added sugars or chemicals. They are simply whole. So here's a list of a few things, but not limited to this. So this is not the end-all be-all list, okay? You want to focus on trying to make your diet as much whole foods as possible. There is a sample food approved food list here. This is very simple. It's not the end all be all. Basically, any meat, fish is good to go. You can have any of it, all of it. Herbs, vegetables, fruits, nuts, nut butters. When you're buying like peanut butter and things like that, pay attention to the sugar content on the back and look for, it'll say like total sugar, 7 grams, and then it'll say included or added sugar underneath that. And basically what that means, you all, is that the product itself naturally has sugar within it, but then they've added in additional sugars. Okay, so we want to try to keep the added in sugar to a minimal amount. So make sure you pay attention to that. You're going to see that in a lot of, nut butters and things like that. They do have added sugar. So I, for the longest time, didn't really know what that meant. But that's what that means. It just means that it naturally has this sugar in it, and then underneath of it, it's going to say added sugar. That just means sugar they've added into the product when they've processed it. Protein powder is fine. I'll give you all some recommendations for that. Try to stick to dairy and gluten-free protein powder. Right now, my favorite one is OWYN. Only what you need is what that stands for. I love it. It's good. The dark chocolate is yummy. It's hard to find a vegan protein powder that tastes good, and it's one of the few that I really like. Black coffee, herbal tea, kombucha, all those things are great. Canned goods, you can do all the canned goods. Most of my veggies, if I don't buy them fresh, I buy them frozen. Just because it cuts down on waste, and it doesn't have any added stuff in there, because some of your canned vegetables will have more sodium and things like that. So just pay attention to labels as you're grocery shopping. Now I do want to talk about some things you can have outside of this list, because we got to be honest and real here. We all have busy schedules. Most of us are moms working, and we got to have things that are quick. And so I did post a lot of my favorite products in the yesterday. It was 2 separate posts, pictures of a lot of different stuff. Basically, you all, when you're buying packaged things, if it's protein bars or chips or whatever it is, you want to make sure it's gluten and dairy free. You want to make sure it has very few ingredients. So I try to stick to 5, 6 ingredients at the most, and I want to make sure I'm able to pronounce those things. Okay. Now, you are going to get into some things with more ingredients than 5. And if you do, as long as it's not a whole list of 30 ingredients, but try to keep it to 10 or so, but make sure you know what those ingredients are. Okay. So that's kind of just my rule of thumb with packaged things, because we all are going to have some packaged stuff. We can't live off whole foods unless, we just stay in the kitchen all the time, and nobody can do that, right? Okay, so let's talk about carb cycling. Carb cycling is another strategy that we use in the Faster Way, and this is a great strategy. I love it. I think it's very sustainable, because a lot of people come into my groups and have been living low carb, and it's not sustainable for them. And honestly, y'all, for women, low carb is not good for us. We have to have carbs. Carbs help with our thyroid output, help balance out and regulate our hormones. And so we need carbohydrates. Basically, we're going to cycle through some low carb days and some high carb days. On our low carb days, we are going to do 50 net carbs or less. That's Monday and Tuesday. That means we are going to consume a lot of healthy fats on those days, so that we make up for the carbs that we're not eating. So 50 net carbs. Net carbs basically is your total carbs minus your total fiber, and you can find that in the MyFitnessPal app, and I will be showing you all how to do that, okay? So I'm trying not to puke everything on you today, okay? I'm trying to do everything gradually, so it's not so much information at one time, and I like to keep my this training at 40 minutes or less, because this is the longest one we will have, okay? So we'll have some higher carb days to offset those low carb days, and this basically helps with thyroid output and having optimal thyroid functioning at its best. Let's see. Carb cycling can help improve insulin levels, helping your bodies to store less fat. And when you pair it with the fasting and the workouts, it actually can help you break through the plateau that you've been stuck in. And so we only have those 2 low carb days. So a lot of people do good by Tuesday. Most people are like, oh, when's Wednesday going to get here so I can have some carbs? But I'm going to teach you all what to have, all of the things, a big list of things that you can have on low carb days. I'm going to share some Pinterest boards with you all this week to help inspire you with some recipes and all that good stuff. Okay. All right. So that's carb cycling. We will start that on Monday. Low carb day will be Monday and Tuesday. And the food cycle, it doesn't, if you have to switch things up because of a birthday or a holiday or a dinner out for a special occasion, and it's a low carb day and you're like, there's no way I can stay low carb, we can switch that. The thing you have to remember is the low carb days have to stay together. Okay. So if you have something like that coming up and you need to switch your days, just post out on our group page, ask me how to do that, and I will tell you the best way for you to do that. Okay. So we have very effective workouts through this program. We focus on HIIT, Tabata, and strength training workouts. The HIIT and Tabata will take place on Monday and Tuesdays on our low carb days. That's where we work really, really hard for about 20 minutes or so. These workouts typically take around 30 minutes tops and you're done. But it is definitely our cardio workouts. And we do those on low carb days to help deplete your glycogen store. Because your glycogen store is where your carbs are stored, and that's what our body uses for fat, for energy first. Once you deplete that store, you're able to burn fat, which is your triglycerides, for fuel. And that's what we do on low carb days. We burn fat for fuel because we're going to burn out on those, burn out all those glycogen, and then we're going to burn triglycerides. Okay. Strength training is one of my favorite workouts in the world. This is where you're really going to see body composition changes. And so we do strength training 3 days a week on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Okay. So I hope you all fall in love with strength training. It's very important for women, especially as we get older. We need to focus on building lean muscle mass, because every decade we lose a small percentage of muscle mass each year or each 10 years. And if we're not doing strength training or resistance training to keep up with that, that will set us up for, breaking of bones, osteoporosis, things like that. Okay, so we do have some rest and recovery days. Those are going to be on Fridays and Sundays. And again, it's important to give your body the rest it needs to just repair your muscles from all the working out that you've done throughout the week. So it is important to rest and recover. Now, here's a few different things. If you're training for a marathon or some type of endurance race, we need to make some changes to your food cycle. And let me know if that's you, and I will help you make those changes. Now, with the workouts, we're going to talk more about the workouts on Thursday, okay? But just be watching for me. I'm going to come in live in our Facebook group on Thursday, and we're going to talk more about how to pick which workout to start with, okay? So if you're doing a home workout, all you're going to need are some weights and dumbbells, and that's it, okay? Same for low impact. You're just going to need some light and heavy weights, and you'll be able to do the workouts from home, okay? All right, what do we got next? I'm almost finished, y'all, I promise. It's a lot. We already talked about mindset. Right here, setting your macros for MyFitnessPal. Will you please let me know that if you've got this set up, okay? Everybody needs to have this set up. And then once it's set up, I want you to screenshot your goals. So that is going to be under where you went to set up your goals. Hold on, sorry. Once you got that set up, screenshot your goal and post it in the group page so I can see it, or you can private message it to me if you want. I think you'd rather do that. That way I can see what they are, and then if we need to make some adjustments, because we're not coming into this program doing a 1,200 calorie diet, okay? So if most of my clients have that mentality, I got to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight. No, you don't. You can eat more and still lose weight. So let me know that you have it set up by sending me that screenshot, and then if we need to make some adjustments, we will. What else? Okay, got that set up. So that's there. That's make sure you watch the video on how to get that set up. If you're having problems or don't understand how to do that, please let me know. I will help you. This will show you how to pin the Facebook group, pin the portal, sample food log, sample cookbook, things if you're breastfeeding, which I don't think I have anyone in here, and then FAQ. So make sure you look through all these. I'm not going to go through all these little sample things. You all can do that. I'm going to go back up here to the faster way cycle and macros. So this is our food cycle overview. So again, our low carb days are Monday is day 1, Tuesday is day 2. This is when we're going to do our HIIT Tabata sprint workouts. If you don't have anything to do sprints on, because sprints are typically done on like a spin bike or a elliptical. Some people like to do them on the treadmill. You can always do sprints outside if it's nice. You can choose to do a HIIT or Tabata workout from the week before on day 2, okay? Wednesdays and Thursdays are strength training, regular macro days. Low macro is on your Friday and Sunday, and then this is our leg day, regular macro day on Saturday. Now this right here is going to show you all a little bit about what the details are for a low carb HIIT day. And so, like I said, your goal is to be at 50 net carbs or less. Net carbs is your carbs minus your fiber. You want to pay attention to your gram goals under your nutrients tab. This right here, this break your fast around noon, whatever works for you all on your fasting schedule. If you eat an early dinner and say you're finished eating at 6 o'clock and you're done for the day, then your fast can start at 6 p.m. and then you break your fast at 10 a.m. or maybe you do 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. It doesn't have to be a 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. feeding window kind of thing. Whatever works for you, okay? On low carb days, we avoid starchy veggies, grains. We don't want to eat those. You want to limit even fruits. The only fruits I will typically eat will be berries of some sort because they are lower in carbs, but I make sure they fit into my macros. In our live training on Sunday night, I will be giving you all the tips for how to survive low carb days, okay? Your pie chart isn't going to look normal on a low carb day. It's not going to be the 50, 30, 20 percentages like it will be on the other days of the week, okay? You're going to see a lot more fat, so a lot more red in your pie chart. Moderate protein, so you will be eating about the same amount of protein each and every day, on a regular macro day and a low carb day. So if your protein goal is 80 grams on a low carb day, you want to try to hit your 80 grams, or you can go higher than that. And then carbs will be the smallest percentage, being usually 10 to 20% of your pie chart, okay? Low carb foods, definitely want to focus on all the green veggies and it gives a lot more volume to your food. Cruciferous veggies. Sometimes people have a hard time eating raw vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. I typically say if that is you, you need to cook them before. And that is me. Like I can't eat those things raw, but I can eat them cooked. Then, all of these things listed. Nuts, avocados, eggs, meats. I typically eat my fattier meats on low carb days like steak and roast. Fish is great. And then we do our high intensity workouts, okay? So that's a low carb day. Let's see. very quickly, we're going to look at, let's see, go back here. Sorry. Trying to give you all time to answer or ask me some questions. Regular macro days, low macro days, we will talk about those later on this week. I'm going to pop into regular macro days. Regular macro days are our strength training days. We want to focus on all the healthy carbs. So that's like all your sweet potatoes and beans and corn and fruits and, you know, rice and quinoa, all those good healthy carbs. So here's a great suggestion. Beans are really, really good for carbs and protein. And you want to make sure, you know, you're meeting your macrogram goals. So under the nutrient tab on MyFitnessPal, you're going to see your goal in one column and your total in the other column. Your total is what you've logged so far, what you've eaten so far, and your goal is what you want to try to reach on regular macro day. Okay. Our treat day is our leg day workout, which is Saturday. So that's your day where if you want to have a fun food like a donut or a piece of cake or ice cream or whatever, you can have it, but you want to make sure it fits into your macros, that you're still going to meet your goals for the day. So a lot of times my clients will add that in first and then work the rest of their day around their treat. So whatever works for you is fine, but that is our day to enjoy a treat. And that's our strength training days. Okay. I think we're going to end up in there. And I'm going to unmute whoever is left on this phone call. Okay. Hi, Laurel. Okay. So I'm going to unmute. I'm not sure who the other person is on here, but you're both unmuted. So if you all have any questions to ask, you can go on and ask those questions, and I'll answer them. Have either of you all downloaded the MyFitnessPal?
I did, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure.
Who use Zoom a lot on UK's campus?
Oh, okay, good. Perfect. So you can practice logging food throughout the week, because I think it's really good to see what you are eating currently, and just looking at the macros as you log those things, and looking at, you know, is this a fat source? Is this more of a protein source? Is this more of a carb source? So like if you logged an apple, you're going to see an apple is all carbs pretty much. If you log some peanut butter, a lot of people think peanut butter is a protein source, but it's really a fat source. So it's more of a fat source. It does have some protein, but it's got high fat. So, you know, logging that food helps you to really see what you're really eating. And then practicing the intermittent fasting, I think, is something that everybody should start doing this week. If you can, I would really like that, because it's easy. You start with the 12-12 and then work up to 14-10 and then get to your 16-8. You can practice some of your workouts if you want this week, and kind of see where you are. My rule of thumb is, if you think you can run a mile, then I would say go half a mile and then see how you feel the next day. Okay, so don't overdo it to where you're so sore that you can't move. So do half of what you think you can do. And a few expectations also I wanted to mention before we finish up here is, so I check in 3 times a day in my groups. Okay, first thing usually in the morning, afternoon around lunch, and then later on in the evening. I may pop in towards the end of the night before I go to bed to see if there's anybody who's posted questions that need answered. If you're posting just a screenshot of your macros and an update, I probably will just wait and comment on that in the morning, but I will be sure to answer any questions that are, been posted before I go to bed. Okay. All questions, try to post those in the Facebook group, because more than likely somebody else has that same question. Okay. If it's really personal and private and you don't want to, then by all means private message that to me. And questions, I expect to hear from you all, okay? So if you go a couple days and I don't hear from you, I will message you, okay? Just to see if you're okay and if there's something you're struggling with and need help with. Another thing is, don't compare yourself with other women in this group because especially macro goals, because your macro goals are going to be different than the goals for Susie, because Susie's older or Susie's younger, Susie's taller, it's going to be different. So don't compare your goals to somebody else's, and be helpful to others in the group. If if somebody's asking for something like a tip on something and you got something to share, I want you to share that. Don't feel like you can't share with others in the group or comment on people's things. Please do. Give yourself grace. So y'all, every day is not going to be perfect. Okay. So don't get hung up on, oh, I've completely failed. I messed up today. I just quit. That is not how we work, because that is not the right mindset. So give yourself grace, and just, if you have a bad meal, make sure the next meal is a better choice. Stay positive. You can't quit because you're overwhelmed. And lastly, I just want to make sure y'all have fun and that you encourage one another and support one another. So does anybody have any questions before we hop off? We got about 3 minutes.
I have a question, Terry. On low macro day, you've got to calculate that yourself, right?
Yes, and so
do that for you.
It won't unless you have the premium version of MyFitnessPal, and you all don't need that. You can just do the free. So what I tell everyone to do is calculate it. So you'll take say your protein goal is 100. 100 times 0.25, because you'll be 25% less. That will be 25 grams that you need to subtract from your 100. So that means your protein goal on a low macro day would be 75 grams, okay? And you would do the same for carbs and fats. And what I tell my clients to do is, in the notes section on your cell phone, everybody has a little note tab. Go make you a note tab for low macro day and put in your gram goals. So put low macro day, protein 75 grams, carbs 150, fat 45, whatever that is for you. But make yourself a note so that you're not always having to calculate it, because you're not going to remember it, okay? So that's my tip for how to calculate your macros for low macro day, and how to save that so that you can go back and reference that on Fridays and Sundays.
Are you cooking on Sundays? I just bought it.
One more question, Terry. I travel a lot, and will you post some good options for eating on the go? Not just like snacks to take with you, but like
Eating out.
Like my go-to thing right now is the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad with the avocado lime dressing.
Yes.
So I need some more variety.
Okay. Yeah, I will talk about that too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, if you all have any other questions, I'm going to post the replay in our group. You can rewatch it, post your questions, and thank you all for joining. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.